Hey everyone, hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shelly, and today what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you all of the books that I have bought in August. I have some nonfiction, some poetry, a romance, which is just so unlike me, and a couple of literary fiction, including one Woman in Translation, possibly for Woman in Translation Month. And let's just get started. Recently, a couple of things happened. I got really mad at humanity for a couple of days. Nothing to do with this space or booktube, but mostly my real life. I was actually not mostly, it had everything to do with my real life. And I was not in a great place. And so I went to the bookstore, and recently I had just read Annie Dillard's Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, in which she had talked about bugs in that book. And I was like, bugs are super fascinating. I want to know more about insects. And so while I was at Barnes & Noble, I went to the nature section and looked for books on bugs. And this is what I found. I have Extraordinary Insects, The Fabulous Indispensable Creatures Who Run the World by Anne Sverdrup-Thygeson. Translated by Lucy Moffatt. And it is all about bugs. I did start reading this, and what I love about it is that the author, Anne, I'm not going to try that last name again, Anne has a really funny sense of humor, like a really quirky sense of humor, and the things that she finds fascinating, she presents them to her readers in a delightful way. And when I'm spending time with her, I can feel the delight that she has for insects on the page, and it gets me excited about insects as well. The next book is Endless Forms, The Secret World of Wasps by Seirian Summer. And why I picked this up is because we get a lot of wasps here in my area. Actually, when my younger son was a toddler, I don't know how this happened, but he had several wasps in his mouth. And we knew he was freaking out. We didn't know what was in his mouth yet. And my husband went in there and actually like dug wasps out of my son's mouth. It was the stuff of horror. But ever since then, I have had a keen interest in wasps. So why not learn a little bit more about them? And then the final nonfiction book more has to do with meditations on nature, if I am reading this correctly. And they are essays, and that is Upstream by Mary Oliver. I'm currently reading a Mary Oliver poetry collection called American Primitive, and it is beautiful. And I wanted to dive into her work a bit more, but not her poetry. I mean, I love her poetry, but I wanted to see how she writes in other forms. So this is her essays. Next, I have two books of poetry. I was at a used bookstore in my area, and I have been enjoying poetry recently, and I am preparing for Shorty September. I really don't need any more preparations or books to add to my Shorty September pile of possibilities. My Shorty September TBR, which I will leave my short book collection video linked down below. But I did want to grow my poetry book collection, and I saw two, and I was like, those look pretty good. And the first one is Marianne Moore, Observations. I truly know nothing about Marianne Moore, so if you all know anything about this poet, I would really love to know. But I love female authors, and I thought the cover was intriguing, and so I decided to go for it. And then I actually bought this book, but then I saw Fraser speak about this poet on his channel, and I was surprised to hear, or delighted to hear rather, that Aaron enjoys this poet. I trust Aaron. He is a poet himself. And so here's the poet. It is Mall, Sand, and Gravel by Paul Muldoon. And this is the winner of a Pulitzer Prize for poetry, I'm sure. And I somewhat collect poetry. I somewhat collect Pulitzer Prize winning books. They do pique my interest. So this little sticker, this little symbol does often pique my interest. And so I picked this up, and I'm again delighted that Aaron has his stamp of approval for this poet. I have a commercial fiction book in a genre that is very new to me, but that I am quite enjoying. And that is this romance novel called Cold-Hearted Rake by Lisa Kleypas. I have heard wonderful things about Lisa Kleypas, or is that right? Kleypas? Oh gosh. Lisa, I've heard good things about your writing. And I wanted to dive into the romance genre a bit more and to read the leading ladies who write for that genre. And I think of Lisa Kleypas as one of those writers. The next book I read about on Steve Donahue's blog. It showed up on his best books of 2021, and then it also showed up on the Booker long list for this year. And between those two things, I felt like the book was calling to me. And so I picked up The Trees by Percival Everett. Hilariously, not hilariously, but like after I bought it, I found out that Lindy from Lindy's Magpie Reads read The Trees and loved it. Also, Fraser Simons of Springboard Thought read it and loved it. And so I was like, I think this book needs to be read by me, and I need to love it as well, or I want to love it as well. So I picked it up, and I'm excited. I actually hope to get to this relatively soon, before the end of the year. Not in the next 5 years, before the end of the year. So yeah, Percival Everett's The Trees. The next two books I bought blindly. They're written by the same author, and I had never heard of this author before BookTube started to pop off about his new book. And then all of a sudden, I feel like this author's name is in everybody's mouth, and everybody is singing his praises, and I'm like, when did I miss the memo that this was a great author? And that is Anthony Marra. And the book that everybody keeps talking about is Mercury Pictures Presents. Apparently, Anthony Marra has a wonderful track record of the books that he has written. They've been really delightful, and readers have been really pleased by them. And it's been a long time since he's written a novel. And so this book came out, and everybody is like, yay, Marra came out with another book. And I'm here like, who's Anthony Marra? And so I was like, I guess this is an author that I would love to get to know. Again, Fraser Simon of Springboard Thought read this and loved it, and we tend to enjoy, well, that's not true necessarily. I think he said that I would like this, so I trusted his advice and picked it up, and I really cannot wait to get this. And then meanwhile, I was like, I need to know about this Anthony Marra guy. I want to know what he's written. And so I picked up Constellations of Vital Phenomena by the same author. And I'm not sure where I'll start, but I feel like I have delightful, wonderful, incredible, juicy reads in my future from Marra. And then finally, I think I have this propensity to just buy books by this author, even though I haven't read her, and even though I'm not sure I will love her style, though I think I will. I'm not sure though, but I just buy her books blindly, and I will be reading one of her books coming up soon, so at least I'll know what I'm getting. But I picked up yet another Ferrante book, and this is The Lying Life of Adults. And yeah, I was like, oh, Ferrante, it's Women in Translation. She's an Italian writer, and this was translated by Anne Goldstein. So yeah, so I'm excited to get to this. I'm not sure when I'll get to this. I'm going to be reading My Brilliant Friend coming up by Ferrante. So at least, again, I'll get a taste of her writing. But yeah, that's it. Those are my purchases as of late. Are there any of these reads that you have read and enjoyed, or maybe didn't enjoy? I would love to know. Are any of these books on your TBR, or have they piqued your interest as ones that you want to read? I would love to know that as well. But yeah, that's it for me. So thank you so much for, oh, should we do a stack? Should we do a stack? So let's see, I have Endless Forms, Mercury Pictures Presents, A Constellation of Vital Phenomena, The Lying Life of Adults, Extraordinary Insects, The Trees, Observations, Mole, Sand, and Gravel, Upstream, and cold-hearted Rake. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye guys.